As an Alabama fan, it's disheartening to see what's happening with Ohio State. We know that Ohio State is typically always the best team in the Big Ten. We know that Ohio State, we want Ohio State to be good. So when we beat Ohio State, Alabama beats Ohio State every year, it can be like, hey, we beat the best team in the Big Ten. Michigan last year was a fluke. But Kyle McCord, Mr. NIL deal, had an off-season rampage of NIL deals, and he comes in and he duds like that. That game was a dud. I don't think his NIL deal had anything to do with it, but I think that he had quite a bit of NIL deals, kind of like the guy DJ from Clemson. They're looking at them as a top team. You have an Ohio State team that has a dream receiving room. You have Amika, you have Fleming, you have Xavier, you have the Heisman, one of the Heisman Trophy candidates, Marvin Jones Jr. But you can't get them the ball. Now, when it comes to decision making and everything like that, I put this on Ohio State's coaching staff. He has to be ready. He has to be ready. That first game against who was it? That first game against who they play? That first game against, let me go look and see who they played, because it was abysmal. I watched most of Indiana. You got to come out and show better than that. 20 for 33, 239, one interception. Now, do I think you go in panic mode? I don't. But if this is your guy that you're rolling with, you're rocking with, he has to be more prepared than this. He was not prepared going into that game, and he looked awful. If it wasn't for the running game, I think that they would have struggled a little bit more. But you have Marvin Harrison with 2 receptions. You got to target him more. Julian Fleming, Kate, and Indiana didn't do anything remarkable to stop Marvin Jones Jr. They didn't say, hey, look, we're going to shift the coverage. We're going to do add an extra guy. We're not going to shadow him. They didn't do anything crazy for Marvin Jones Jr. They played everyone straight up. And he comes out of that with only 2 receptions. I do not think that that was a good showing. I think that you have to come out and you have to obliterate Youngstown State. You have to be sitting the third quarter, right? If not, then the question is, how real is Ohio State? Now, understand this: the Big Ten's weak. In my personal opinion, every year I think they're weak. It's a mirage conference. They do well, and then once they play the bigger dogs in the SEC, they get dogged. If you look at most of their schedules, they don't play any SEC opponents. Buckeyes don't play any SEC opponents because they know what happens when they do. I personally think and believe that you shouldn't go into panic mode. But Kyle McCord has to get things right. The Ohio State coaching staff has to get these boys right. They cannot have another dud showing like they showed. It's not a question of is this the team's MO? Is this their DNA? It's not a question of that. It has to be their MO. With the weapons that you have on the outside, if you're not utilizing them, you are not maximizing your potential as a team. So get Kyle McCord right. Ohio coaching staff, get him right. Get him ready. Don't go into panic mode just yet, but get him ready. So he comes in and you guys obliterate Youngstown State and leave any doubt as far as them being the best team. Now, how did Michigan look? I think Michigan looked okay. They handily beat East Carolina. They got UNLV this week. They have a week out of conference schedule. And then they play a muster around a bunch of weak Big Ten schools, and they end out with Ohio State. So Michigan's going to skate through their schedule smooth. I don't think that they have anybody. Their quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, I don't think that he's anything to be necessarily worried about. He had a good showing, had a solid game, but it's not necessarily something that I think that we should make him the cream of the crop. So Ohio State, not in panic mode yet. You have the weapons. Make sure you're utilizing them and putting your guys in the best position. But you cannot have another dud showing like you did against Indiana at Youngstown State. You got to leave no doubt. It has to be undoubtedly that you guys are the number 3 team in the nation. Because I personally, as a Bama fan, I want Ohio State's best punch.